said, well, what are you going to talk on? And I kind of said what I was going to, and she gave this to me, and I'm like, man, that'll go kind of with what I'm talking about here. So just thank the Lord for her. And, believing and being fully convinced. To accomplish anything in life, you have to believe in it, right? Football, any kind of sports, you got to believe you're a winner to win, right? If you win and you're not a believer, it's just, hey, you happen to stumble upon something great. But to really be a winner, you have to believe you're a winner, right? With work, I am in sales. I have to believe 100% in my product. I have to be fully convinced it's the best product out there. I, being a Christian, don't want to be in a job or selling a product that I don't believe in, because I won't be good at selling it. Because I'll tell people, hey, go buy that instead. That's what's better. And so I have to be fully convinced in order for me to be successful in it. Losing weight. How many people here have ever tried to lose weight?
Knock it off.
I've lost weight, and the only reason why I lost weight is because I was fully convinced I could do it. I had 100% heart into it. And then once I was down, I gained the weight back. So it's been great. But you can't do it. How many of you guys can go to the gym on a consistent basis and not believe in yourself and going to the gym?
I can't go to the gym.
No one can. You have to be convinced that you're going to get up every morning or go in the evening, whenever it is, every day. You have to be convinced. Here's another one, marriage. Marriage, you have to believe in your marriage. You cannot continue in a marriage without believing that it's going to work. You can't continue in a marriage without believing that no matter what my wife does, I'm still going to love her, and vice versa. No matter what he does, I'm still going to love him. Your marriage has to be founded on a belief in each other next to being founded on God. You have to have a marriage founded on God for it to work.
That's right.
Man, still wiping tears. Your marriage is kind of like, and I don't know if you've been married or are married or whatever, but your marriage is like it's a metaphor of our relationship with the Lord.
Amen.
And it says we are the bride of Christ. It talks about, if you're reading the Old Testament, it talks about Jerusalem and Israel being harlots because they've committed adultery on the Lord, and they've gone to other gods and served him. So it gives us an example of marriage in our relationship with the Lord, how it ties it together. So the same way that I love my wife, I need to love the Lord.
Amen.
The same way my wife loves me, she needs to love the Lord. And we've had bumps, but you know what? Because we've made the Lord the center, it's worked out. And because I had a wife, like I said, that prayed for me and constantly was seeking the Lord for me, it worked out. But it didn't happen if she didn't believe.
That's right.
If she didn't believe and was fully convinced that our marriage was worth fighting for, she would have left a long time ago, because I wasn't worth staying with. Got a scripture here that I wanted to read, because going forward here in the message, we're going to read out of John chapter 14, verse 6, and it says, Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come to the Father except through me. Now, the most important thing that we have to believe and be convinced on is our walk with the Lord.
Yeah.
And if you can't believe that scripture right there, forget it.
Right.
You have to believe that Jesus Christ is the only way. The only way.
Yep.
There's no other way. I don't care who says what. I believe what the scripture says. And Jesus Christ right here says, me. I'm the way.
Amen.
I'm the truth. And I'm the life. There's no other way. I don't care who says what. I will bet my life on it. Because I believe. Go over to 1 John chapter 5. The first 5 verses there. Everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ has become a child of God. And everyone who loves the Father loves his children too. We know that we love God's children if we love God and obey his commandments. I like that part, obey his commandments. If we love God and if we obey his commandments. Loving God means keeping his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. I want to stop there. How many of you guys have ever heard a commandment? And not just the 10 Commandments. When he says the commandments, the whole scripture, what the Lord puts on your heart at times, it can't be burdensome to you. It might hurt. It might not be the most fun thing, but you got to give it to the Lord and say, okay, Lord, I'm moving forward in you, and I'm giving it all to you.
Amen.
For every child of God defeats this world, or this evil world, and we achieve this victory through our faith. And who can win this battle against the world? Only those that believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Amen.
You can only do this if you believe. We did a discipleship program at our church. We've talked about it before. Some of the people are here tonight that was in our discipleship program. But there were so many that came through that wanted to change their lives, but didn't believe that Jesus Christ was the only way. They had a back door ready to escape as soon as they could.
That's right.
And if you have that back door ready there to be open, you're not believing.
Amen.
You are not fully convinced
That's right.
that Jesus Christ is the only way.
Amen.
So, in tonight, the backgrounds you guys have all come through, I know, are diverse. Everybody's come from a different place. But we all have the same story. That Jesus Christ is giving us a second chance in life. And we have to believe
Thank you, Lord.
that he is the only way.
Yes.
And we have to believe and be fully convinced.
Only way.
Another one. There's so many scriptures on believing. Jesus mentions it so many times. The apostles mention it. Old Testament mentions it. So I could go on about the different scriptures that talk about believing in the Lord. But the one that everybody knows, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son.
Yes, he did.
Whosoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life.
That's it.
And believing doesn't just stop with I believe. James says, you say you believe in the Lord, good for you. So do the demons. They know who Jesus Christ is.
Right.
But it goes beyond just that I know who he is, I've heard of him, and I believe he's real. It goes beyond that.
Amen.
Because the demons for sure think he's real and knows he's real. And they tremble at his name. But it goes beyond that. It's in your lifestyle. Do you show that you believe in the Lord the way you live? You might not be around your church body and you go out in the world. How are you living?
Right.
I go to work. I'm not with any Christians. There are very few people that I meet in my line of work that are Christians. So I got to be on an extreme watch, making sure that I'm living my life perfect for them. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. But we got to live like we believe.
Right.
And I want to talk about the disciples real fast. I can be a little long-winded, so my wife will give me the hey, cut it off when we're ready. But the disciples followed Jesus for 3 years. And when it came down to it, after all they had seen, all they had heard, they all abandoned him at the last minute. Why? Because they didn't have 100% belief that he was who he said he was.
Right.
There were times where Peter made statements that, man, they were great. And he said, hey, it's because the Lord gave you that revelation, not because of your own understanding. But then right after that, he put his foot in his mouth, and it just shows that he wasn't 100% all in. Because as soon as bad stuff hit, they went back to what they knew. They had that back door open. They went back to fishing.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with fishing, but the Lord called them out of it to be in ministry.
Right.
And they went right back to it. It wasn't until the Spirit of the Lord filled their hearts after he died, he came back to them and he ascended on high, that they truly believed. Because then after that, they were really willing and ready to sacrifice their lives
Yes.
for everything
Yes,
that
amen.
God had given them and God had told them. Let's go to the Old Testament. Moses was told, hey, I'm going to give you, Abraham was told, I'm going to give you all of this land. and your descendants are going to rule over it. He didn't have Jesus Christ standing there telling him like the disciples did. He just felt in his heart what the Lord was speaking to him. And so from Abraham's time, Jesus talks about this, from Abraham's time, he was waiting and ready for my time to come. He was ready for it because he believed. There are people in the Old Testament that truly believed. And they died, and Jesus even talks about it. They died without seeing my coming. But they were anxious and waiting and willing to see me come. And so, because Abraham believed, it was fulfilled in him, and he got the son Isaac, and the lineage all went on, and it was because the Lord ordained it. You look at Moses. Moses believed all the great things. David believed what the Lord gave him, and believed in him and followed him no matter what. He served the Lord. Was David perfect? No. He made mistakes. But he had a humble heart, and he had a repentant heart. He always came back to the Lord and asked for repentance when he messed up. And why? Because he believed. Because he believed in the Lord. And then I want to talk to you about Thomas, the disciple. He was the one that everybody calls Doubting Thomas. He was the one that wasn't there when Jesus came and showed themselves to him. And so when they told him about it, he would not believe it. But when he was with them another time, and Jesus came and showed himself to him, said, "Hey, come put your finger in the holes in my hand, and put your hand in my side." And Thomas fell down and made an amazing confession: "You are my Lord and my God."
Amen.
But Jesus says something that has had to minister to my heart. I had to work on in my life, because sometimes when you think about the Lord, and sometimes when things come up, you want to see, right? You want to see something to be able to believe it, right? But Jesus says right here to Thomas, "You have believed because you've seen. But I say, blessed are those that believe and have not seen." So here is Thomas, who followed the Lord for 3 years, and he still wouldn't believe until that moment right there. And he saw all the great things. I don't know about you guys, but if I seen the things that Jesus did, I think I would be fully convinced pretty quickly. But it just it amazes me what the disciples had to go through. But then I think about me and my stubbornness. Sometimes I got to go through it too, But Thomas was fully convinced and believed at that point. We don't have the Lord standing right here physically in front of us anymore. He is no longer walking the earth with us physically anymore. But we have His Spirit in our hearts. And that's enough for me. Because like I've said, I was at rock bottom. I did not deserve what I had in life. The important things that I had, I did not deserve them. And it was only by the grace of the Lord that I was able to keep all of that. The important things, houses, cars, that's not important. I could be the most poor man, and I have been pretty poor, and in the world, and be the richest man ever if I have the Lord in my heart.